Hey everybody, it's Jenny McGarvey and I am back with you again today to share how I planned in my big happy planner. This is the week of March 6th through 12th, 2017, and this is my memory planner. You can see there is a look at last week where I used the March Hip Kit Club kits, I guess I should say, and I really enjoyed it. Now this week I'm going to be using the Planner Society kits. I received two of those. I received the main kit and I received the box sticker kit. I don't think that I'm using any of the box sticker kits this week, however. I have printed my photos on my Canon selfie printer. I have some that are 2x3 and I have some that are 2x2, and I really don't have a real rhyme or reason of how I print them in the different sizes, just based on personal feeling, layout of the page, those types of things. Now, as you can see, I am trying to lay them out on the days that they occurred and then also find a good visual design for them as well. I decided to not include that photo of my kitchen, and I'm going to create an insert instead for that. So watch a little bit further on and I'll show you how I create that. I had that super cute little doily and I decided that I wanted to have that be part of the lower left-hand cluster this week. So I've laid that out right there just to make sure that I don't forget, because sometimes I do forget when I'm planning. I get kind of ahead of myself. So I figured, oh, I'm just going to put that right there, and that will help remind me that I'm going to add that detail down in the lower left-hand corner as just a big embellishment. I've pulled out a lot of the pieces from the kits that I think that I could use, and I'm going to plan a little bit differently this week in my memory planner. A lot of times I'll incorporate some patterned paper or maybe a journaling card cut up, that type of thing. This week I'm not going to really do that so much. I've got a couple of different things that I'm going to do instead. Now there's that packaging that I was talking about, the insert that I'm going to create with that photo of my kitchen. And I'm going to use the packaging for one of the items that came in the Planner Society kit because it was just so stinking cute. I had to use it. So now I'm pulling out my planner, my personal planner that I use every day, and I'm going to keep that on hand so I can get all of the activities and appointments down on the page and make sure that I incorporate those. Now I've pulled out this paper punch that I'm going to punch my photo of my son playing baseball. I knew I wanted to incorporate the round shape. Not only does it give it a little bit of fun, it's whimsical, but it also, the round sort of lends itself to the baseball theme, obviously. So I thought it would be fun to create a little cluster of the photo and the activity all together and use that. I'm using the Scotch ATG gun as an adhesive. That was that big pink gun that you saw me using. I really like it a lot. The adhesive is super sticky, it lasts a long time, and it's very inexpensive for the refills as well. Now I'm going to use one of these boxes also to notate the time and place of the baseball game, and goes along with that particular photo that I have there. I wanted to find one where I could cover up the corner underneath the photo, and then I'm also going to be layering this sticker on top of it as well, so it doesn't even matter that it had something printed on it already because you won't see that when I'm finished. I like the way the little cluster looks. It's different, and it'll be the only one on this particular layout, and I like that too because I like changing all the things up and making them all a little bit different. I also included a little teardrop sticker from my stash because there wasn't quite enough room for me to write, so that little teardrop helps add just that little last little bit that I needed to include, which in this particular case was the time, and that happens quite a bit actually. I end up using the time on a teardrop sticker. It just works out really well on the size of that. Now you can see I'm layering the the sticker, I'm sorry, right directly on top of my photo. And sometimes I do that because I just like the way that I can tie those two elements together, just like I did on Monday with that circular photo. They belong together. You see them together, you know they're from, this was from that, and I like that a lot. I think it's a really neat way to incorporate both the functional part of the planning and then also the decorative elements, and make this all a little bit more like scrapbooking in terms of not only the layering but the identifying or giving captions to different little photos. I'm using just the little bullet point stickers here on the Wednesday afternoon for these activities. because I've already used some of the activity stickers, and I like the balance that this provides using the little bullet point stickers, because I feel like it's one of those things that if I just use all activity stickers or quarter box stickers, then it begins to feel really redundant, and this way it keeps it fresh and different and a little bit eclectic as well. Now I'm pulling out these stamps, and these are from Studio L2E, and I'm using them with my block from Sweet Stamp Shop, which is definitely my favorite. I wanted to make sure that I included some stamping this week as well, so that I did not use only stickers. I like stamping so much. It's really fun, and when I'm varying the different stamp sets that I'm using, I find that it just really gives my work the, like I just got done saying, sort of the eclectic feel that I really enjoy very much. Just like that right there, I have those two different stamp sets, the one with the script, the one with the very block letters. It's very graphic, and I just like the way that they look paired together as well. These boxes are nice because they provide plenty of room, but they're also really basic and to the point as well. So, I mean, it says practice. I could put my son's initials, I could put the time, boom, we're done. It tells the entire story, and I like that a lot. Now again, I'm leaving those two bottom boxes open so that I can add the embellishing down there. Remember, we're going to add that yellow doily I showed you before. But of course, not before I add one more activity, and I am going to pull out a little baseball icon sticker as well to go in that spot down there, down below. Now, in a lot of these stamps that don't have text on them, you can feel free to modify them any way that'll work for you. If it works better for you to flip that stamp around and have the opening in the upper left-hand corner, do that. Or you can flip it if it fits better for you to have it in the lower right-hand corner. It's kind of one of the things that's really awesome about stamps, is that you can really use them and modify them to fit your needs. I adhered the doily down and then trimmed off the excess, and I'm putting a little thin layer of washi tape over it. I've trimmed one edge neatly, and then the other one, it didn't matter. I just tore it off because I'll be covering it with this little sticky note that I added adhesive to the back, and so now it's basically just like a big sticker, which is awesome because it's so super cute. But look at that, it also adds room for a little bit of journaling as well, and then adding that super cute a couple little stickers for added embellishments also. And I love how it turned that otherwise boring corner of the page into something really special. And as you can see, it was very simple. I just used some washi and a doily and a sticky note. It wasn't anything that was overly involved, and they were just items that came in that Planner Society kit. Now for a little bit more decoration, I also added some washi tape at the top. I don't always go crazy with washi tape. It's one of those things that I feel like a little bit goes a long way, but in this case it was so pretty I had to use it. The same thing is true of these tracker stickers. I don't really track anything in my planner in terms of like water intake or exercise or anything like that, but I knew I wanted to use those florals. They were so pretty. So I just trimmed the little tracker part off and then stuck the flowers up there also. Now, as you can see, for the second half of the week, I still have my photos laid down, and I'm going to go ahead and start thinking about what I'm going to do. But while I do that, I'm going to put this little insert together. So that was the packaging from one of the die cuts or the stickers or some shakers or whatever that came in the Planner Society. And I'm going to take a little 3x4 journaling card, Project Life journaling card that just has a simple grid on it, and I'm going to adhere that onto the top of this little insert. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to put it on there horizontally. So then I'll trim the excess off, and as you can see, then now I have this mat for my photo. So I'll adhere my photo, and of course now after I take a little bit of time, I'll also include some puffy stickers that will bring the yellow from some of the other elements into this insert as well, because I had the yellow doily and then there's some different yellow elements in the stickers also, and this little particular card didn't really include any yellow, but I thought it would be a fun little pop and really make it stand out. Now, I realized after I created the whole thing that now I didn't really have a free space to punch. So I've just switched the orientation of that photo so that it hugs the right-hand side of the little card instead of the left-hand side, so that I can just use my Happy Planner hole punch over on the left-hand side, and I won't be taking anything away from the photo. Turned out fine, it was no big deal, and that'll work out well to add inside of my planner. I just thought it would be really neat to have that fun little look at a ordinary element of our home just right there inside the planner pages. Now I have adhered all of my photos down, they're ready to go, and I just need to also now add not only decoration, journaling, but my activities and my appointments. There are quite a few, but really we have a few heavier days, and Friday is typically one of my lighter days of the week, which is wonderful. Now this is the bag that the Planner Society kit came in. They're these really beautiful bags. They're lightweight though, so I have to be a little bit careful in how I use them because they can't stand alone like that packaging that I used for an insert. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to do a little bit of fussy cutting around one of the floral clusters so that I can use the adhesive on the back and create a big beautiful floral background element at the top of my page. Now it's a little bit harder, not necessarily harder, but maybe just a little bit annoying because this is a bag, obviously, so there's seams and it's bent in certain places and it's just really got a lot of flexibility to it. It's not like a piece of cardstock or a heavier patterned paper, but that's also one of the things that makes it kind of neat too. And I love repurposing these bags in this way also. So now I've got it where I think it should go and it looks pretty good. So I'm going to peel back up the photo just a little bit so that I can layer that on top of the the bag that I trimmed out, and I put the adhesive all over the back of it just to make sure it's nice and sticky and it'll stay well, and it just really doesn't interfere with some of the other objects that really drives me crazy when I'm creating it. So now it's all stuck down and I really am happy with how it turned out. Those flowers are just very pretty and it just gives a big bold design element, and I like that balanced with that other one that I did on the other page with the doilies also. Now to kind of tie the ends of it up, I'm just putting that little washi type strip sticker down at the top, and I'm going to trim that last little edge off because it hangs over and it bugs me a little bit. And these aren't really sized for the Big Happy Planner. Actually, quite frankly, I'm not really entirely sure they're sized for any specific planner, but they are definitely a little bit smaller than in the classic size Happy Planner. Now I'm also just going to add the tiniest little bit of washi tape and cut kind of like a little flag out of the edge just to flank that photo of the cat. And I just thought it would be fun to add that little bit of washi tape because it's cute and it really can do that mimicking of the like a little page flag or something like that. And isn't that adorable with the little bird cage right next to the cat? I think it's kind of funny actually. I should have probably had like a little bird flying away or something. I'm adding a little bit more stamping with these stamps from Studio L2E. They're super cute and they really just get the job done here. Like I mentioned before, they just add that complete function right there, especially with such a heavily decorative and floral page. Now I need to add all of the activities for Saturday, and as you can see I've already covered up most of the day, so the most efficient way for me to do that is just to use the little hearts as bullet points and write all of the activities down like that. And it's one of those great ways that balances, like I talked about before, which is that we have some very visually heavy items already. That big flower cluster, it's really pretty huge, right? So in order to take up a little bit less space visually, just adding those little decorative elements really helps a lot. And I'm sorry, not decorative elements, but the functional elements, just keeping it as simple as possible really helps. Now I'm just adding a little bit of brush lettering for the itty bitty, and I'm just using the Tombow pen. It is a very small tip for brush lettering, and that's what I like about using it in the planner, is that then I can write a little bit smaller than I would on, say, a large piece of paper. Now, a lot of you ask me about doing videos about brush lettering, and I'm not opposed to showing you how I do some brush lettering, but I am definitely not an expert, and I am not going to do a video on brush lettering because I am not an expert. You should definitely learn from someone who knows what they're doing, and I do not. So it would not be fair for me to teach you anything about brush lettering. There are so many beautiful and talented people that would be much better at doing that. I'm going to use my mat and my ruler to draw some lines for my journaling right here, And again, it is the same thing that I tell you every week. I'm just going to stagger my letters. I'm going to use my pen to give those nice, bold, black lines just because I like the visual impact that they give. You have seen me occasionally erase my lines for journaling. I don't do it that often because I quite frankly really like the way that the lines look. I do this in my scrapbooking and I have been for years. So you'll definitely mostly see me use that. So that's pretty much it. I'm just going to finish up my journaling here and I'm finished. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please leave me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment box below and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thank you so much and make it a great day.